Hello guys and welcome back to a new video. Today I want to show you the way I play my mage in TOMM and LOM. Let's get started with the mounts and especially the insignias. I use for insignias the dominance and the brutal insignias just to get as much power as possible. And for the insignia bonuses I just look that I get a clear user skill to get more stamina regeneration and movement speed. As an equipment slot, I use the 5k power, cause I don't have a 10k power mounted this character. And on a mount power, I use the Tyrannosaur. You can already use the Swarm or the Griffin. The Compagnon, it's for all DPS mostly the same. I would recommend the Bullet Pup as the summon companion. This character I don't have it, with 15 body rune stones and companion gear who fits your stats. Then go with the armor break and deep row hatchling in the tamed Velociraptor. And the other stats here down there, you should focus on power primarily. When this character is finished, the companion looks like on my hunter video. You can go there and watch how the companion would look in future. For boons, my target is mostly the same like on my hunter. Take power and life. Then go for the movement speed and the companion influence, and on this and this two you should look that you can fit your stats. On tier 5, there are two different ways you can go. On this Agronist setup I go for the action point gain and the recharge speed. On the Traumatorque I go for crit servity and action point gain. Arcanist is for TOMM, Traumatorque is for LOM. The Master Boon I take every time Bloodlust, cause it's the best one for DPS. On the Stronghold boons I take the Power, the Max HP and the Revive Sickness. For the powers. Onto the Arcanist I take the Ray of Frost to take damage, and the Storm Pillar just to load my action points. As encounters I use the Repel, the Entangling Force and the Disintegrate, and on my tab I use the Ray of Enfeeblement. And yeah, this ray every mage should tank cause it stacks. So every other mage do the 10% bonus damage too. If you have more than one of this rays, it's stacks. And daily, you normally only use the Arcane Empowerment for very fast burst damage, and then when you activate the power this daily, your encounter powers nearly don't have any cooldowns. On a class feature, there's two ways you can go. For the Storm spell and the Arcane Power Field, if you have your daily every time on burst phases in TOMM, and the Storm spell and the Chilling Presence if you don't have your daily every time on burst phases ready. On the feats, the first one for action point regeneration, the second point for bonus damage, and the third feat take to have a chance to double the at will damage or lower the much lower the cooldowns for the encounters, and or the 20% action point regeneration. The fourth slot, in which we take the bottom one for the bonus damage and combat advantage. And on the fifth slot we take the top one to buff us in the daily more, cause the daily guarantees us a 5 stack limit for the Arcane Mastery, and with this feat we have a 10 stack limit. So we do 5% more damage. On my LOM setup, I take the Traumatorque with the Ray of Frost as the most used at willpower, and I nearly never use the Scorching Burst. And the counters I use to repel, cause it's a low cooldown against single target, and your teammates will hate you when you throw an enemy away, so do it. And the Icy Terran to deal an AoE damage with a dot. And the Conduit of Ice. So you should focus the strongest enemy when you're fighting against groups. Especially with the Ray of Enfeeblement you have on the tab. Then the Conduit of Ice, and then every enemy around the main enemy get pretty high damage. On daily you can use the Arcane Singularity or the Oppressive Force for AoE. As the one you prefer, I personally prefer the Arcane Singularity. And on the single target daily you use the Ice Knife. A glass feature, use Chilling Presence and the critical conflagration. This is that you put a Smolder every time on a target you crit them, and you gain 10% crit severity, which is pretty nice too. And Chilling Presence increase your damage when you have chill stacks on the enemy. The first feat you should take that your cooldown regeneration is faster when you have still chill stacks on your target. Second one is you deal bonus damage to your enemies with smaller flames. The middle one is the bottom one, cause you do bonus damage when you freeze the enemy, and when the enemy is control immune and you can't freeze him, he will gain an additional 100 magnitude bonus damage. The fourth one is the bottom one, to gain more critical severity, and then you Smolder, dealing 20% more critical damage. The fifth one is the top one. With the one your Smolder deal only 55% of its normal damage, but it's not an damage over time. Now it's an instant damage. Cause when you do another feat, your Smolder is just a dot, and most of the times the enemy is dead before your Smolder with a dot do that much damage than your Smolder with an instant damage. So this one improves your damage. Let me show you my equipment. It's mostly like on every other DPS. First of all, you should take the ability scores, Constitution, Intelligence, Constitution for AP regeneration, Intelligence for the magical damage boost. When you start playing TOMM, you should have at least 350k HP. But if you're more experienced in it, you can lower it up to, like me, I'm in TOMM, I have 300k, nearly 300k HP, and that's enough when you're very experienced in TOMM and you play the mechanics nearly perfectly. In the ratings, you should gain as much power as possible. 80k armor penetration. 80k critical strike. 80k defense. When I change my one of my companion gear, I have there 80k too. At the moment, my companion is a little bit bugged, as you can see. Yeah. In fight you should have now it works. 80k currency is your target, but I don't reach it perfectly with the mage, so I use the potion for accuracy. That is fine then too. And the 130k combat advantage should you have too. On the equipment, Demogorgon set, like on every DPS, the shirt and the trousers cause of the 10% chance to gain 25 action points and the chance to get encounter powers which is cooldown. Then the rings who fits my stats. On cause the mage is an ranged champion, ranged character. You cannot use the Heels of Fury here, so you need to use another one. And here the best one is the Enduring Boots. from Makos in Omu, and it's works nice with the Lionheart weapons, who gain 10% damage boost when you're full of stamina. On the armor, the arms and the head use the same thing like on every DPS, for as much power as possible and a 5% damage boost in the Under Mountain area. As in enchantments, you use the tactical enchantments in the utility slots. When you have 350k life, when you lower your life, you can get back the dark enchantments. That is okay, because the healer should heal enough that you don't need them anymore then. At the defense slot, you should the brutal enchantments for defense and max HP, and the bark shield enchantment for the armor enchantment slot. As in every offense slot, instead of one you should use the radiant enchantment, in one you should use the Tenebris for more bonus damage. And the weapon enchantment slot is the Billthorn enchantment for single target and the lightning enchantment for AoE. As a primary artifact, I prefer the Soulside Crystal at TOMM, cause in the 10 seconds my daily lasts, I can get with the artifact and 10% and 25% bonus damage for this 10 seconds to do additional burst damage in this time. And the other two artifacts here should fit your stats. Yeah, that was everything for the mage. If you like the video, just hit the like button. If you don't miss out on future guides, hit the subscribe button. And I wish you a great day. Until next time. Bye bye.